Hello. Got my festive on. We just had a neighborhood holiday party, and so the day got a little bit away from me, but today we're still going to talk about that Shipt app. We're going to do a review on the Shipt app. Now, if you're not familiar with the Shipt app, it's an app that you can sign up for, and what it does is it gives you a list of orders around your area at different stores of people. It's kind of like a competitor towards Amazon. So like a lot of times when you order something from Amazon, you have to wait, maybe the next day or something like that. Well, the Shipt is, you can get it within so many hours. It's like sending a personal shopper. So if you've done Instacart, which I haven't done that, but it seems like it's similar, but I don't know if the Instacart is just the grocery store. Where the Shipt, I like because it has a bunch of stores. So it has Fry's, it has Safeway, it has Total Wine, it has Bevmo, it has Party City, it has the different drugstores, but it has Target. And Target is my favorite because on the Target orders, they actually have the aisles of exactly where your item is. So especially if you get 2 orders, you can really bust those out very quickly versus like a place like Fry's or Safeway where, they might have salsa in 4 different places, which drives me insane. You might have it in the deli, you might have it in the cold stuff by the salads. It's endless. Where, I really do try to focus on the Target ones because those are the clean and easy ones, and you can, get them done fast. So you maximize your time and money. So basically the process is that you download the Shipt app and they send you all the stuff, and you do have to do a background check. I think they might even do a credit check because they give you a credit card. So you have an actual Shipt credit card that you will use, not on all the orders, but some of the orders. So some of the orders will be prepaid. Some of the orders you will use your Shipt card. And then some orders you're just doing the delivery. So there's a lot of different options, but you do have to have a little bit of you gotta have some decent credit because they're not just going to give you a credit card, but you're also not going to be able to use the card because basically when the member puts in the order, it automatically is going onto that card. So I don't think you get anything, more than what is estimated. So you will, once you are approved, they'll send you a couple shirts, which I do kind of like it. A lot of people, I do find that when I'm out there shopping and I run into other Shipt people, they don't have it. And I don't know, just when I'm delivering to someone's house or something and I've got a bunch of stuff, it just looks more professional for me, I feel like. So I do like that they do supply that, which is nice. And then I think after like 50 orders, they actually give you 2 more shirts, and they give you a cooler bag so that you can like carry the cold items in, which is not a big deal right now, but I do live in Arizona and it's hot, so yes, it is nice to have that. So essentially, once you are all set up on the app, they will you can kind of pick your area of where you live, so you can kind of make sure that you're not going all over, but you kind of have like a primary and then a secondary area that you can focus on. And so how it comes in is that it pops up and it's a first come first serve, and it's like, hey, this person needs some stuff from Target, and it gives you not only a preview of the list of items so you can tell whether or not you have 8 things of 24 water, like heavy stuff. Sometimes that's something that you want to think about, which I do have a cart for that. And I got this cart, I swear to goodness, it was one of those seen on TV or something like that. And it is like, probably I use that cart for everything, and it has become the most primary thing because I am not a very big person, and so it does make a huge difference. So I'm not as reluctant to take those orders that have a lot of those kind of bulk items that you would, I don't know, maybe get at Safeway, at Costco or something like that. So that is important, but it does give you the preview of what it is that they're, wanting. It tells you an estimate of about how much time it's going to take, that they think it's going to take you to do the shopping. And then it also shows you a map of that once you're completed the order, like where you're going to need to go. So that way it gives you an idea of about, if it's cost effective for you where you are. Because sometimes you might end on one order and then be in a different part of town, and maybe it isn't worth your time, or maybe it is because you're like right in that spot, so it worked out perfect. So, and I feel like sometimes you do get, like, once you get in a role, it's like almost like you get, I don't know, in an algorithm or something like that, and so they'll start feeding you what, other things that are in there. They do have a schedule where you can go on there and you can say I'm available, which is one of the biggest pros of these apps, is you can kind of work when you want to, which is awesome. So you can go on there and select the times and the days that you are open to work, which is awesome. But at the same time, I found when I was doing that, they were, at one point, we'll go back to the rating system after this, but they initially, when I first got on the app, they had 3 ways that they rated you. They rated you on just your overall performance, 1 out of, up to a 5. And then they rated you on your time, if you show up on time. So that's like 100% on time, on a percentage. And then they had a percentage on how many orders you accepted. But in order to be on that, you had to sign up for the schedule. So they kind of got away with, they kind of quit doing that, because I think sometimes I just want to look on there and pick one. I don't want to have to, be subject to what they are showing, because there was one point where if you didn't accept at least one of the suggestions, it was kind of a ding toward you. And it's not, they don't know where you are, and so it might not be cost effective for you. So they ended up removing that. So I don't even know why I'm talking about it, because it doesn't make any sense now. But your rating does need to stay above a 4.7, and they don't really tell you that. Like they do if your rating gets, I think maybe in some fine print somewhere, but it is kind of a big deal. So you've got to make sure that you maintain at least a 4.7 on your performance in general, and you do have to maintain at least a 90% on-time rate in order to stay on the app. So, that's a pro, because you can see it immediately, which is nice. And it's a con too, because if you pick something and there's some traffic or there's an accident or something like that, then it is what it is. There's, they're just going to replace you, because it is a little bit like that. That would, I guess, be a con to it as well. It's very much like waiting tables. If you've ever waited, it's like the best, I guess, metaphor that I can think of, because you have to be careful about, let me just give you a couple stories. So, if you get really good at it and you get really good tips, you will definitely get not only a better rating, but you will also get preferred members that request you to be their shopper. And that's kind of really the route you want to go. That way you have, like right now, I think I have 10 people that I shop for that just, they like me and I like them, which is awesome, because it's like, a couple of these people live in apartment buildings, and it's like I already know exactly how to get in and out of the building. I don't have to, have any kind of it just makes the whole process much faster, which is awesome. However, back to that waiting tables, how some people just, like, I swear to goodness, they go into a restaurant and it's like they're already, you see them and they're already complaining about the booth, or they're already looking for a way to get something for free. And so there is an element to that. So I would say a big con to it is that I wish it was kind of like, I think on Lyft and Uber, those apps, I'm sure you're probably familiar with those. If you've not done them, you've probably had people that have used them. But typically you get a feedback on both ends. So the driver can give feedback on the passengers, as well as the passenger giving feedback on the driver, which I wish that the Shipt app did that, because I have had 2 stories. So one was, I just had like a very quick order at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I was picking up like a spin mop or something like that. And they didn't have the spin mop that she wanted. So we were conversing, which is also done on the app. So if something isn't there, some people will have, if this isn't available, then I'll take this substitute. Sometimes the substitute isn't there, so you'll text back and forth with them and you will say, hey, this isn't available, but this is available, which is good because I pretty much really dig into that, and I always send pictures and I really engage so that they, have a good experience. And that also, I think, gives you good tips because you're just being personal and you're caring. Well, sometimes that can backfire a little bit. So, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond, I pick up this mop, and then as I'm checking out, she calls me on the phone, and instead of just texting, it was like, hey, can you pick up some Starbucks? My other Shipt people, I'll tip you really, really big if you can stop and get me a Starbucks. And I'm like, okay. Well, I'm like, why don't you text me? And I was like, no, she didn't want me to pick up. She wanted me to pick up like 3 Starbucks and some, I don't know, some rolls and some food. And I'm like, yeah, no. So I didn't pick that stuff up, and I didn't say that I didn't pick it up. But when I dropped it off, another thing I do is I always take a picture, even though it doesn't require you. There are training videos that kind of give you the gist of it, but you aren't required to take a picture once you leave it on their doorstep or whatever. There is a part on the app where you kind of swipe and say you've delivered it. But I just find it's kind of, just personally, I think it's a good, I don't know, save your ass kind of thing if you have a picture of the item on their front porch or whatever, if there's any issues that they say that they didn't get it. But at the same time, that lady, I think, gave me a really bad review because I didn't stop and get her some Starbucks. So, again, goes back to that like waiting tables kind of thing. Another lady that lady was not a preferred customer or a preferred member that had requested me, but I do have another lady that I have since not accepted any of her orders because she only does phone calls. Now, she is an older woman and she does have the app on her iPad, but when you're shopping for someone and you're texting back and forth, a lot of times you can be like, okay, they don't have this Lunchable, but they have, this. And then while you're waiting for the response, you can go along your merry way and shop around and wait for them to get back to you. And hopefully, because on the app, you'll say, hey, I'm at the store, I'm going to shop for you. Let me know if you need anything else on your list. So you do have the list, but it's just, hey, I'm here. If you, thought of something else, let me know while I'm here. Well, this woman doesn't do text. So initially I kind of was like, oh, I feel bad for her. I really wanted to help her out, and she hadn't found anybody to, help her. So anyway, she had put in an order for on Friday for Sunday. And so, which was fine, but early that morning, so it was like a 7 to 8 delivery, because it'll tell you the delivery block. And well, early before that, she had updated the list. So the list went from, I think there was like 25 items to 50 items. So she almost doubled the list. And so this woman, again, doesn't do text. So we had a double whammy. It wasn't at a Target, it was at a Fry's. So there was no map. And it was one of those where the salsa literally is in 4 different places. 4 different types. So it's not like the same salsa in all 4 places. It's like 4 different salsas in 4 different places. So, and she's not doing a text. So every single time there was a substitute or any question, there needed to be a phone call. And I really started to, after like, I think the 3rd time I shopped for her, it's the only time I've ever been late. I have, and I think maybe that was another thing that bothered me, is because I pretty much always time manage where I am not late. I mean, that's like my biggest thing. I don't like being late. And it was absolutely impossible to shop for someone if you have to make a phone call for each one of the items when you have 50 items, because not only is she not quick to answer the phone, but she's also, I honestly feel, it's sad, but I feel like she just probably doesn't have very many friends or anything. And it was almost like, she just needed some company. And unfortunately, she also lives on the 3rd floor. So she had gotten all these huge bulk items, like huge waters, and just like, it was just so much. So, and it was ended up being like, $25 with a $5, so $30. And it took me almost 2.5 hours to do it because it was such a gigantic order, and I had not timed myself. So at that point, I was realizing that even though my heart goes out to her and I understand where she's at, that is not going to work for me. And I can understand why, because she had mentioned that she was having a hard time finding a preferred shopper, and that was another reason why I think I wanted to help her out. But it just, so I guess she's probably a person that goes to a restaurant and complains about everything, because she's very OCD. Like so I have to bring the order in, I'm putting it on her table, she's like examining the packages of the cream cheese. Okay, so you will have those people. Then I have another lady she's probably got a couple kids, and she could care less. She doesn't even have, any kind of substitute is like, you just tell me, you choose. I trust your judgment. So whether it's baby food, whether it's different salads, or whatever it is, she could care less. She's like, you just make the decision. And that's awesome, because then that just makes my job so much faster, because then I can just say, okay, these are the items that were in there, kale, this and this. So I just try to find another salad kit that has the same stuff in there, and she's been super happy, and she tips like crazy. I mean, she'll tip me like, $15 on an order that was $15. I mean, and it takes me a quarter of the time. So you're going to kind of get both of those type of things. I think the biggest key on getting extra tips, though, is to take pictures and have that conversation back on the text, back and forth. Also, when you drop the order off, that you take a picture. It doesn't require you to do that, like I said, but I think that will give you huge tips, because you're overall, you're wanting to get these preferred members. Then you already kind of know, which is nice, because I have a bunch of ladies, and that makes me feel good that I'm not going to some creepy dude's house or whatever. And I also try to, stay within where I'm not at night shopping, because I don't really want to be, rolling around trying to find stuff at night. So I think the biggest cons, though, are that there are some nuances in the apps. So for instance, I didn't realize, and even to this day, like after I do an order and I'm done, the app, for some reason, like one of the buttons on the bottom won't show up. But if I close the app and I open it back up, the button will be on there, which is kind of like, once you're like almost done with your list, it'll give you a prompt and say, hey, excuse me, you're almost done with the app, or you're almost done with the order. Do you want to send so-and-so and let them know that you're coming? Well, that button wasn't on there, but I didn't know any different because I was new to the app. And that was one of the things that was not in the training video. So I think, the communication is huge, to take the picture, but I'm a cheese ball. Like I will always pretty much do like a little Post-it note, and, and I just write on there, thanks. I put a little smiley face on there. Have a good day, good night, whatever. I try to pick the softest mangoes, or I don't know, anything that's personal. That just adds a little bit of a touch. Always will give you, just like waiting tables, if you've ever done that as a side gig or a full-time gig or whatever it is, has always been super helpful in the, getting those preferred members, because that's really what it's at. But you do have to be careful about falling below those standards of the 90% and the 4.7. But I mean, you can make I think my best is like maybe $115 off 3 orders. So, I mean, I live in an area where I can make, I'm pretty close to like a high-end area. So there's some resorts. So a lot of people that, they're here for vacation and they need to get some stuff for their, for the pool, maybe a bathing suit or a cover-up or something like that. So they're paying a premium to have someone literally just go out and grab something for them. So I think it's not for everybody, and but especially with gas prices the way that they are, I mean, that's a whole nother story. We'll talk about that more on the Amazon app, because that one, it really, really has affected that in a big way. So this is a little bit better because it's kind of still in the same area. You're not like, I mean, you can, I guess, go wherever you want, but it's not that bad. So anyway, but if you, like I said in the last video, it is an amazing little thing if you want to make a little extra money for, you know, those makeups, outfits, or whatever it is that you just want to have. Now, that being said, it's $10.99, so you're going to end up having to pay taxes on it. So it's not W-2. You are going to have to maintain that. So I do have, I actually downloaded the QuickBooks app to mark all of my mileage, and I also have receipts that I keep for all of the gas that I spend. So you do have to kind of do that. But if you're doing it and you're, I think it's under $600 or something like that, so you can make up to $600 without having to, you know, have to do the taxes on there. So that might be, if you just need a little extra cash for something, I think excuse me, 100% worth it. And I do like it because it isn't, you know, the chintzy stores. It is the nicer stores, you know, not that there's anything wrong with Walmart, but I'm a Target girl. I love Target. So if you love Target, and I love shopping at Target, I mean, it's heaven. Because and I think one of the coolest things about it is, especially because Target now has, a lot of the super Targets have a grocery store in them, so you kind of get the best of both worlds. You're getting the grocery store, but it's, again, all mapped out. You know exactly where you're going. And it's so cool because I've like different products that I didn't even know existed. Is so cool. So like different types of breads, different types of, I don't know, cheeses, and all kinds of stuff where I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting. I've never even had that or tried that or anything. So, and it is kind of cool because you're at the store when nobody else is there, really. Because I mean, usually I would always shop kind of the same time, at like after work or on the weekends. So you're there when people are prepping and stuff. So it's almost like you're an employee by proxy or something. So if you have any questions, or if you didn't think I covered something, leave it in the comments and I will, I'll let you know. But yeah, I think it's worth it. So if you got decent credit and you want to make a couple bucks, get on the Shipt app and fa la 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 nighttime video, because I at least had to get it out on Sunday. So anyway, I will see you. I think I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do the Flex one, the Amazon Flex, here soon too. Probably I'll do that either tomorrow or maybe I'll do it on Wednesday. One of those days. It's coming up. I'm gonna try to do at least 2 to 3 videos a week. I'm gonna get ready for 2022 because we've got our bucket list coming up. I didn't forget about it. I'm not going to forget about it. It's not something you can just do in a video. I'm going to keep, it's our homework. So I want you to keep that in the forefront. Okay. And we'll be touching base on all that stuff, as well as each month that we're going to do. So anyway, everybody, let me know, leave comments, and I hope you have a great weekend, or not a great weekend, a great night, and I'll see you